What's going on, everyone? This is Burke Nasty, 54 Comics here with my boy Dee Runk. What's up, man?
What up, dude?
How's it going? How's your Saturday?
You know, it was going great until we tried to do our planned video over on my channel.
I don't know why that's doing that. That's weird, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
things happen.
okay. All right. I got my shirt on to go with what we're talking
Yeah,
about. So,
dude, it's a good subject though. I mean, DC just announced that they're that 2019 is going to be the year of the villain.
did they say that?
Yeah, they're going to go all in on supervillains and whatnot. So
Nice, nice.
yeah,
I'm sure a couple people will get on here shortly.
yeah.
I'm going to say already that I'm pretty sure that at least two, maybe three from my list is going to be on your list. I feel very confident saying that.
Comic Head, what up, brother?
What up, dude?
I can tell you that
accept his calls. So
my list is going to be considered blasphemous as all hell.
I'm
probably gonna lose like 50% subscribers after this video.
yeah. So my list is not what I would consider like. Okay, here's maybe we should go through like why we made our list, like why they're in the order that they are.
I don't want to do that because I think it might give away something. So we got Comic Head in the chat here. I will tell you that yeah, dude, Comic Head with his blasphemous list, he likes those a lot.
His lists are the ones that are blasphemous, I feel like. I watched his Marvel videos and his other stuff. Man, my hair is just not looking good, but whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. So here's the thing. When me and Comic Head, we did our top 5 live action DC list.
Yes.
And so he would say a movie that was on my list, but he had it lower. So I wouldn't comment. I don't really want to do that in this list. I think we should just talk about it. You know, if you give a guy that's lower on your list than he is mine, we're both just going to talk about it, and then I will reveal. Hey, when it's my turn to get to that number, we'll just reveal who it is,
and we'll just talk about it again.
Yeah, recap, and we don't have to get as in depth the second time, but
like it.
Yeah, I just try that out, see how that works.
Man, I don't know why no one else is. I guess everyone is over on Thanatos. Is there's just me, you, and Thomas.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't mad at him, but I was fucking furious when I saw that he had an after party. I was like, God damn it! I'm not mad at him for it. It's not like he's got a plan. Yeah.
So I do want to say, should we go over? I have a couple that are not on my list that I want to talk about because I do like them a lot. So maybe we should talk about honorable mentions, or should we do that?
We can do that, and then I'm gonna have one other honorable mention at the end of my list.
Okay. Okay. So I have two. Well, actually, yeah, I have two that I definitely want to talk about. Maybe a third. So I'll do one, and if you want to do one, and then we'll get back to me or whatever.
Sounds good.
All right. So I've talked about how where is it over here? I talked about how the first book that I ever remember reading as a kid was Batman 497. So obviously Bane he's a big part of my childhood, and I really, really, really wanted to put him on my list. I just couldn't, and he's like one of my favorite villains of all time. Like he's like we did a Batman top 5 list, which we probably should. He would definitely be in my top 5. But unfortunately, since we're doing just all DC, he did not make my top 5.
That was one of my honorable mentions. In the comic book, he's just a fantastic villain. I loved him in The Dark Knight Rises. That was just a hell of a performance. But yeah, no, Bane he's a world-class supervillain for sure.
I'm gonna send some messages to some people, let them know we're on.
Yeah. Hey, Comic Head, we need you to be our hype man. Go get some people. Round them up.
Okay, so another one is, where is it? I don't have. Okay, it's over here. It's also, when I do this list, I want to show a comic if I have it, which I do. I have at least one every all top five. I have at least one cover of them, so I'm going to show one, at least one, if not two of theirs, even though it's not like a huge one.
Yeah. You and I think we did similar prep work on this.
Okay.
I've got my little backing board with our names written on.
Yep, I got my top five list right here.
Yep.
So my other one that I want to talk about is, well, I'm going to do this while I'm telling people we're on here.
Yeah.
Is
Chico Comics and more. What up, dude?
Chino? I just messaged him. There we go.
That worked.
Doomsday. Doomsday, I feel like, is almost unstoppable. Like, how do you even stop him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. There's nothing really you can do to stop him. So
He's a bad mamma jamma.
he really is. And I remember when he killed Superman when I was a kid, and I was like, what? So yeah, I'm trying to get all these people's messages sent. Do you have any other?
Yeah, one of my big ones that I kept trying to put him on my list and I couldn't do it was Lex Luthor. And I've got a version of Lex Luthor that would have made this list. I like the businessman Lex Luthor, who is, running the city, whether people know it or not. Like, everyone's working for him. He's in the eye of the public. Everyone thinks he's a great dude. Everyone thinks he's, just the heart of the city. And, but secretly he's a criminal. Secretly he's trying to kill Superman or discredit him. I love that version of Lex Luthor. But too often you get mad scientist Lex Luthor, who, is teamed up with other supervillains. And I don't care for that version of him. I don't like seeing him in his Lexo suit that, makes him
Right.
a formidable threat. I like the puppeteer. Hey, D Comic Queen, what's up?
Hey, D Comic Queen, she's another person. Manny, what's up, homie? All right, we got some peeps on here. Okay, I guess I'm messing. So we're gonna do our top 5 villains. We try to do it on Dee Runk's channel, but I guess something's wrong with receiving Google Hangouts, so we're just doing it on mine.
Inhuman X, Genome,
what's up? Lots of good people in here. So we started with our honorable mentions. One of mine was Bane, and Dee Runk said that was one of his as well. Another honorable mention of mine was Doomsday, and you just said yours was
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with our top 5?
I want you to go first, if that's okay.
Okay, so my number 5, I did not base him off of like how powerful he is, because if I would base off how powerful he is, he would probably be number 1. But I like villains like individually for different characters, and this villain is more like a Justice League, like all of them put together, which is Justice League's cool, but I feel like the DC characters are so interesting and unique by themselves that I had to have him lower on my list. So number 5.
Do I get to guess?
Oh, did you see it?
No.
Okay, guess.
Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Yeah, buddy.
Man, that was a good. I felt like I was pretty good at that. So this is Justice League number 50. This is the only Darkseid cover I had. And this is for the New 52. This is when Batman finds out that there's 3 Jokers, and this is I think this is a conclusion to the Dark Side War. So, number 5 for me, the top 5 DC villains is Dark Side.
Yes, no, he is an incredible villain. He not only is he powerful, but he doesn't always want to be in the physical confrontation. He likes orchestrating and planning and manipulating, and yeah, he's I like him more than I like Thanos from Marvel Comics. So
is that better? Let's see. There we go. Perfect. Back just a touch. There we go. Yeah, so Darkseid, he's actually more powerful, I think they've said, than Thanos. He's got those beams. What are they called? The gamma rays? Is that what it's called?
The Omega effect.
Omega, that's right. Okay. And I just watched, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was one of those movies on the DC Universe where he's the main villain. It's based off of the New 52.
Justice League War.
That's it. And he was pretty good in that.
Yes.
He's a manipulator like Apocalypse, says Genome. Yes, I agree. And he's super, obviously, like strong and can obviously beat the whole league by himself. But I just felt like I like the other characters individually. And so he's more, since he's so powerful, he's better versus just the Justice League. So.
Did you ever watch the Justice League cartoon or the Superman animated series?
What was it called? The Super Friends or something like that?
No, I'm talking about like the 90s. Like this is in the same universe as Batman the animated series.
No, I did not watch that. But
good Lord, I'm so jealous. So you'll be able to watch it for the first time. It's a fantastic show.
Okay,
holy shit! Oh my God, no, dude, it's amazing. And he's voiced in that show by Michael Ironside, which is just a stellar performance. Yeah, it's a damn good show, and yeah, Darkseid, very good character.
Hell of a baking competition, Judge. What the hell does that mean, comic head? I don't know what
You're
that
saying that Darkseid has many talents, and baking competition judge is one of them. Oh Lordy.
So all right, so what's your number 5?
My number 5 is this gentleman right here, the cyborg Superman. This is Hank Henshaw. He is his first appearance was back in May of 1990 in the Adventures of Superman number 465. First appearance as cyborg Superman was in Superman number 500. That was back in June of Adventures of Superman number 500 back in June of 1993. Just a really cool character. He's gone through some pretty crappy stuff. He started off as him and his fellow astronauts. He's an astronaut, by the way. They were like a parody of the Fantastic Four. They went into space and they had an incident out there and it didn't go so well. And instead of becoming, a band of superheroes, most of them died. And Hank Henshaw became incorporated to where his consciousness can't be destroyed, and he lives in technology. And he blames Superman for all that happening. Here's a really cool cover with Harley Quinn.
Nice.
Wrapping him on top of the head.
He was like the main person in that Justice League War. No, wait, not that one. What was it? Was it? It's another one of DC Universe. It was right after
Reign of the Superman.
Reign of the Superman. I watched that too. Right before that.
This is a Superman Unchained cover. It's one of the variants.
So you're more hooked up than I do. I only got like 1, maybe 2.
This is the one that I have the most books for, is Cyborg Superman.
So his first appearance is actually super affordable. I usually just see it at cover price.
Yeah, no, I actually don't have it. But it's one of the books I intend on getting. I should probably do it before something crazy happens and it goes way up in price. But
he's got basically the same powers as Superman. He's just a robot.
Well, and he can he can just jump into any piece of electronic equipment. I mean, super overpowered.
Thanks for coming by, D Comic Wayne. Appreciate it.
Inhuman X, yes, there was a Superman cartoon. It was in the mid '90s. The Superman the animated series is voiced by Tim Daly, and it's a really good show. And it's in the Bruce Timm universe. You know, the Batman the animated series came first, then Superman the animated series, and then the Justice League cartoon came out. It's all one continuity, and should definitely check them all out. They're pretty good.
So, do you want to go to your number 4, and then we'll just jump back and forth since I went first?
Oh, we're gonna snake it. All right, I like.
We can.
A bit of it's a curveball, but I like it. All right, let me. So my number 4 is Darkseid.
Well, I'm glad that ours was close then.
Yeah, no. So I only had 2 books for this. This is just one of my favorite covers of 2018. Yeah, just when I saw that, and I wasn't even reading this book, but Darkseid is on the cover, and it's just a super cool image. And then I've got one of these villains month variants, and it's like a lenticular cover, and really cool book. And yeah, Darkseid. I mean, we pretty much went into. I think we went into pretty good detail on him already, but Darkseid is he's my number 4.
So that book you just showed, that lenticular one,
yeah,
for the Villains Month. So I tried to use that for our thumbnail, and it since it's lenticular, it looked like crap.
Oh,
since Darkseid was on my list, and I figured it was probably on your list, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna find another one to use. So
yeah, no, lenticulars are awesome, but they do not show up good on camera for the most part.
So he doesn't really have like a main person he goes against, just the Justice League.
So depending on who's writing him, he did look a little bit like Ben Grimm on that Mr. Miracle cover. But Superman has beaten him one-on-one. It has gone back and forth both ways. But comics are fluid. You know, whoever's writing it, what the stakes are. You know, it goes back and forth. There's actually a book called Superman versus Darkseid, like their top 10 fights and whatnot. And there's some pretty good books in there.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Comic Kid 84 was talking about the Fleischer Superman cartoon. That was a revolutionary cartoon for back in the 40s, man. Do you ever watch that?
What's the name of it?
It's the Superman cartoon from the 1940s. It's made by oh my god. So you need to there are clips on YouTube all over the place. Watch it and remember that it came out in the 1940s. It is just amazing for its time. It's truly it revolutionized cartoons.
I'm pretty sure the only one, I usually just used to watch the Super Friends, and then the Batman animated series and the X-Men animated series. Those were the main 3 that I watched.
Oh, if it's animated, I've pretty much seen it. That's well, hey man, what's your number 4?
Real quick before I go to number 4, Manny and Chino want to do a bench off. I will say that I'm not in shape right now, but when I was a year ago, I put up 280 on bench with 6'5" wingspan, being 6'2". So I used to be strong. I'm more at 240 now. Okay, so my next one, he is really one of 2 big villains for one specific character, and I don't know, what I like about him is that he used to be a hero himself, and he was a mentor to one of the heroes that is now a hero. He's always been a hero, and then he is no longer a hero himself, but he has a lot of evil in him. But I would almost call him an anti-hero, like a Venom type. You know what I mean? Let's see if you. I give you a lot of stuff there. So I'm pretty sure you know who it is.
Is it Red Hood?
That's really good guess. It is not.
Sinestro.
Sinestro. Sinestro is my number 4. I really actually liked, I thought he stole a show in the Green Lantern movie, which I will fight anyone that tells me that Green Lantern was a terrible movie. It wasn't great, but it was not terrible. So, yes.
I think it was terrible for the fact that I hate when movies come out like that and miss an opportunity. It is not a bad movie, but it could have been Iron Man level for DC. And they really I think they dropped the ball with that movie.
I just think the Sinestro, like, he's got almost unlimited power being a Green Lantern and this Sinestro Corps person.
Yeah.
And he's fought alongside Hal Jordan a lot. And he's been one of 2 people that's been a White Lantern. So he's just I feel like he's a fantastic villain. I feel like he's also someone that people can relate with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If one of my all-time favorite storylines of any comic book is the Sinestro Corps War.
I need to read that.
Oh my gosh. I think it came out back in June of 2007. And it's available in trade and whatnot. And it is just why am I playing with a knife? Yeah, I'm gonna get the knife away. But yeah, it's a fantastic story. It is better than Blackest Night.
The Blackest Night was pretty good. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It was not bad, but having read Sinestro Corps War before that, it was a letdown in my opinion. So you read Blackest Night first. Sinestro Corps War takes place before Blackest Night, and it's a damn good book.
Wonder Woman and Aquaman was legit. As I agree, Manny, they were fantastic. I really want to see what they do with Green Lantern in the DC universe because I feel like with the right script, it can be phenomenal. But it is.
Absolutely.
He's also, I do feel like a tough character because he's mostly going to have to be CGI. But they did pretty well with like Vision in the Marvel universe, so it can be done.
That's another thing that DC needs to catch up to the Marvel movies. The Marvel Studios has some of the best CGI that you'll ever see in a movie. And where you'll go to a DC movie and some of it really takes you out of it. I mean, that Justice League movie, the Steppenwolf,
yes,
that was pathetic. Like we had that kind of CGI in a movie after the movie Jurassic Park had been out from 1993. Like, how do you have worse CGI than a movie from
Jurassic
1993?
Park has like one of the best. Didn't they say it like it's one of the best of all time, and that was made 25 years ago.
Yeah. So no, that inexcusable.
I do want to say before we go on to number 3, I have an announcement to make.
Oh.
One, I hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, so I appreciate everyone for subbing me up, and I just hit 500 followers on Instagram. So I want to thank everyone for following me and subbing me. I'm going to be doing a video in the next couple of days. We're going to be doing a giveaway for 3 mystery boxes. So
nice.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. And it's been awesome. I joined Instagram I've been collecting comic books for the last couple of years, but I joined Instagram back in, I think, June of 2018. And so I've only had it for 6-7 months. And so to have 100 subscribers, I just joined YouTube last month. So I had 100 subscribers in 1 month, and now I have 500 followers, and it took me only 6-7 months. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it.
I have an announcement to make.
Let's hear it.
So me and Berg Nasty were talking about this earlier, but my wife bought me or is paying for us to go to Planet Comic Con in Kansas City at the end of March. And me and Burke Nasty here, we're going to meet IRL, or
That's
in
right.
real life.
I'm gonna have to order my ticket like today or tomorrow, so I don't forget, and I get a discount because I'm a teacher. So
Oh, hell yeah. I should have you buy my ticket.
you should have had me buy it, and then you could have just Venmoed me or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to do a video while we're there.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait, dude. I've never been to a big convention before. And, but the announcement is, don't make me and Burke Nasty be the only people from the community that show up to this damn thing.
Dude,
I want to bump into other people. I think that would be really cool.
it's awesome. It is huge. Like if you've seen a convention center, it's way bigger than you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. We're about 5-6 weeks away, so it's gonna be awesome.
Hell yeah. All right, who do you got on your number 3 there, sir?
Number 3, I'm 100% positive that he is on your list. But there was one of your people that you said earlier that I was pretty sure would be on your list, and I was shocked when he said that he was not. So maybe not. So he is the main villain for one of my favorite characters. And he is also one of those people, like, he could have been a hero, kind of like Sinestro, but he wanted too much to be like the hero, and that he messed a lot of shit up. So because of that, he's a villain, and he has outside of Darkseid, I would say he has the most power out of anyone in my top 5. Maybe Sinestro as well. Those 3. So my 5, 4, 3, I would say have way more power than my number 1 and 2, but he's got almost unlimited power.
All right, I'm gonna say it is Superboy Prime.
So when I say almost unlimited power, I say it because he can change things how he sees fit.
Oh.
The Reverse Flash.
Oh, yep.
The Reverse Flash. He is a fantastic villain. He is awesome on the Flash. I don't like how they keep going back and forth between Matt Lesher and Tom Cavanaugh. They just need to pick one. I feel like just go with it. So, but the Reverse Flash, he's got almost unlimited power. He can go back and change things. He's come back to life and died a billion times. He beats the Flash a lot. Yeah, I really like him. So this is Flash Rebirth from Jeff Johns, number 5.
That was a hell of a series, that Flash Rebirth. That's not the DC Rebirth that came out in 2016. That is when Barry Allen came back to life after being on a 20-year hiatus, and that was a really, really cool book.
I would say it is my favorite Flash storyline, and I would almost say it's one of my top 3 miniseries. So the Reverse Flash is my number 3, and then I also I got 2 or 3 copies of these, but I didn't feel like getting another one out. So here's Flash 21 of the button. The lenticular one's over there. I just didn't feel like getting it out. But
I have the lenticular in a CGC 9.8. I've got the entire button run in a CGC 9. What's that?
You get it from Barry Gary?
I don't remember who I bought it from. I got the 4-lot run, all CGC 9.8 for $120.
Dang.
Which is insane.
So, Tina, I'm going to be a spoiler here, and I will tell you Brainiac is not on my list, but he was the third person that I was going to say is one of my honorable mentions. He is a fantastic villain, and he's got a ton of power, but I don't feel like he's as worthy of being a top 5 DC villain.
he's a cool character, but there's so many different versions of him, and he's really good in like the last, I'd say 10, 15 years. His stories have been pretty good. Before that, he's rather silly, and it not really my cup of tea. But Brainiac's all right. I liked him in the Superman animated series. You need to catch up on that. You'd like that iteration of him too.
Dude, my LCS had a first appearance of Brainiac at like a 3-0 or a 4-0.
Okay.
He texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. Like, how much? He goes, $2,000. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, it's hard to drop $2,000 on a first appearance for a character like that. Like, that's Hulk 181 money for a 2-0 or a 3-0. So
I think he ended up selling it for like 1,500 or something, or 1,200. The first appearance of Brainiac, Manny. So.
Yeah, Inhuman X knows what I'm talking about. On the animated series
from Chino Comics and More. Have you ever watched them?
Yeah.
Okay, so that Inhuman X is Manny.
Okay. On Superman the animated series, they rewrote his origin, where Brainiac was actually an artificial intelligence that Krypton had created to help like run the planet, and he wound up being devious and had his own intentions, and kind of hid the fact that Krypton was about to blow up from the Kryptonians, and that was my favorite iteration of Brainiac.
What do you think? Reverse Flash? Pretty sick.
Oh,
right?
dude, Reverse Flash is phenomenal. You'll be surprised, but he actually did not make my list.
I'm shocked that
I told you it's blasphemous, man. I'm sorry. Like
that's okay. It's your list.
Yeah. Yep.
So, do you have the first appearance of him? Do you got the Flash 139? Because I'm looking for one.
I do not. That is definitely a book that would if someone had a 3-0 of that, like I'd pay some good money for it.
You have that Flash 197, the Zoom first appearance, though.
I do have that one, yes.
Nice.
But all right, you want to get to what's that?
I was going to say I agree, Chino. He should have done payments, but I probably still wouldn't have got it. So, all right, go ahead. Let's see your number 3.
All right, my number 3 is Doomsday. The run of Death of Superman got me into reading comic books, kind of like Bane got you into reading comic books.
Yes.
He's been a part of, Death of Superman is a great storyline in my opinion. This is the first appearance of Doomsday, the first full appearance. His first appearance was Man of Steel number 17, and kind of like a cameo of sorts. But and then he was a part of one of my all-time favorite stories, which is Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey.
Nice.
And this is a storyline that came out, I want to say back in, let's say April 1994. And it was a 3-issue run. The art in this book is fantastic. And it also happens to house the top 3 villains of my list. Or, I mean, the bottom 3 of the list. It has Cyborg Superman, it has Darkseid, it has Doomsday.
I see a lot of Superman. I see a lot of Superman so far on your list.
And there might be more.
Oh.
But yeah, it's one of my favorite stories as a kid. It's just fantastic. And
Chino said he liked that he kicked Superman's ass.
He did, and that was the compelling thing. Like, they had to create him so that there was a physical threat for Superman. And that made for a really compelling story. And yeah, Doomsday is, I absolutely love it. He has a really cool origin story that, that he was cloned, thousands of times in order to quicken up the evolution process so that he would be immune to death. Oh my! They go through that in the Hunter Prey storyline. So it's just a fantastic story. But yeah, really, really good book.
I have that book. I have that first appearance of Doomsday, which is thank you to Kenticus. He hooked me up with that with his mystery box a couple months ago that I won, but I didn't like. It wasn't one of those where like my name was randomly drawn. I just won because I typed something in fast enough. I've never won a randomly drawn thing ever, which is frustrating as hell. But so
I won on Geeks, Drinks, and Comics had like a hidden contest on his like 100 subscriber celebration, and the prize for that is X-Men number 14, first appearance of the Sentinels.
Nice,
dude.
The Sentinels. That movie with them in it. What was it? Days of Future Past.
Yes,
that was okay.
I like that one a lot, actually. For all the X-Men movies, it might be my favorite.
What did you think of Batman vs Superman with Doomsday in it? What are your honest thoughts on that movie?
Wasted opportunity. I can watch it and enjoy the movie, but I really like Henry Cavill as Superman. I absolutely loved Ben Affleck as the character of Batman, but I think they just squandered all of it.
I agree.
Batman kills like 18 people in that fucking movie, and
I like it more than most people. But yeah, it's not a good movie.
He kills.
They try to do too much in one movie.
Yeah, in the Death of Superman, like that needs to be its own movie. Why would that just be shoehorned into a Batman versus Superman movie? Oh my gosh. Like, and that's what gets me riled up. Like, now you're getting me on a tangent here. So everyone, talking about the Justice League movie that came out, like they want the Snyder cut. They want the Snyder cut. Like, I would watch it, but Snyder gave us Batman versus Superman, the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Like that was not a flawless movie. And if he was doing to Justice League what he did to Batman v Superman, like maybe it's better left not being seen. Like it's tough.
I agree.
I get frustrated on that movie. That movie should have been
Comic Books NYC. What's up?
NYC. What up, brother?
So yeah, we're doing our top 5 villains, and you can see mine right here. My number 5 is Darkseid. Number 4, Sinestro. Number 3, Reverse Flash. And Dee Runk, your top 5. Go ahead and read those over again.
Hey, we got number 5. We got Cyborg Superman. Number 4, we got Darkseid. Number 3, we've got Doomsday.
And we're doing his snake order. He just did his number 3, so he's going to do his number 2.
My number 2. All right. Number 2, more Superman. Big surprise, huh? It is Superboy Prime.
Okay, so tell me about him because I don't know about him.
Okay, so he was introduced in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. He came from a planet where there were no superheroes. They actually read superhero comic books like Superman and Green Lantern, and pretty much in the comic book, he's supposed to be from our universe, like real life. And but he turns out he is Superman or Superboy, and he gets roped into the Crisis event, and
there was 5 Superman that got roped in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Thanks. Just take it easy, man.
Yeah. Adios. And then his biggest story so far was, I have the hardcover of this. It's Infinite Crisis, which is another one of my favorite stories. He's the main villain of this, where he pretty much goes crazy watching, Earth One squander all of its opportunities to do the right thing and be good. And his power level, though, his power set is Silver Age Superman. And I don't know if you know anything about that, but that's a dude that can sneeze and wipe out a galaxy.
Appreciate it, Manny. He can see
Adios.
out of galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, Silver Age Superman is just, pre-crisis Superman has the most wacky power set you've ever seen, and it's a bear. But he goes crazy in Infinite Crisis. He starts fighting Connor Kent, Superboy, which is the Superboy from from Reign of Superman, and he, is like jealous of him, and he starts like punching holes in people, and he decapitates someone by accident, and just a really cool character, and he's just like crazy too. Like he's trying to be Superman, and he never can. Like another good issue. This is from the Sinestro Corps War. He was another big character in that. He fights Ion, or Sodom Yacht Green Lantern, who is basically like a Superman with a Green Lantern ring. That's his power set. So really cool character. And
I'm assuming, and Superman beats him.
Superman eventually gets him, but they had to depower him first, and then Superman kind of just did a little ground and pound.
Wow.
Yeah. But Superboy Prime, I keep hoping, like he hasn't been in the continuity since New 52 came out, and I keep hoping that they find a way to bring him back, because he's my number 2 favorite superhero.
I'm really hoping that they do something with Shazam and Doomsday Clock, because he's like one of the most powerful there is, and there's hardly been any mention of him like at all. Even though he's had 2 issues, but there's been like no mention of him since Rebirth. So that's been kind of frustrating.
Shazam?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got a book out now.
I know. I have both. But I'm just saying before that though, like any other titles, Justice League, there was like just a small mention of him in DC Metal, but he hasn't been in Doomsday Clock or like hardly anything else. So
yeah, no, I'm all the way off the train with Doomsday Clock. It's a good book, but it needed to come out every month.
Yeah.
And now they're delaying the next issue all the way till March something. Like I might not read it out of protest. Like I know that's not.
I don't know if it's Jason Fabok that's doing it or if it's Jeff Johns. He's got an insane amount of books coming out all at the same time. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, so my number
JB, what up, brother?
Oh, Discovery Bay, what's up, man?
Hey, so Discovery, we were having technical difficulties. That's why this video was not on my channel. We had to bounce over to this channel and Burke's channel instead. So
I don't know why. Like I had my Google Hangouts up, it just his calls wouldn't come through, and I checked my email and it wasn't in there either. TJ, what's up? TJ, JB, we're doing our top 5 DC villains. My number 5 was Darkseid. Number 4, Sinestro. Number 3, Reverse Flash. And you want to go ahead and run through your list real quick before do you mind?
Yeah, no, I've got Cyborg Superman. I've got Darkseid. I've got Doomsday, and then my number 2 was Superboy Prime. So that is my list, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm surprised that we haven't had as much overlap.
Yeah.
So my next one, I was like 100%. Okay, let me back up. My next one is my only Superman villain on my top 5. And the reason I have him on my top 5, so number 1 and number 2, they don't have any power set comparable to my to my 5, 4, and 3. But the reason he is number 2 is because he's so damn smart, and he was in the show Super Friends a lot, and he's been in like every Superman show, and he's just like no one can outthink this cat, and he's super smart. He's kind of almost like an anti-villain too, because he's been Superman before. Actually, recently toward the end of New 52 and at the beginning of Rebirth. But I mean, it's pretty obvious who it is, right?
Jesse Eisenberg.
That is right. Number 2 is Lex Luthor. Number 2 is Lex Luthor on my top 5 villains, DC villains. So I was surprised, very, very surprised that he was not on your top 5.
Yeah, you know, and I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. His iterations have been too inconsistent. I like the businessman Lex Luthor that runs the city. Everyone works for him, whether they know it or not. He, he has his finger in every pie. He's, he's in. Then he's a criminal in behind the scenes, and it's kind of like evil Iron Man, or evil Tony Stark, but he's a cool character. But then you have your, the versions of him where he's a mad scientist. You have versions of him like in the original Superman movies where he's just a crazed land shark. He wants all the land, and Batman v Superman, like that was, oh my god, such a way. God, it was so bad.
I thought it was worse than. I mean, he had the like crazy part down, like because Lex Luthor is a little bit crazy, but he's more just smart. And I didn't feel like they portrayed him as very smart in the movie.
No, he's incredibly smart, but
the smartest man in the world.
Yeah, he's ninth level intellect. He's very, very smart, and he's a good character. But Genomes has got Solomon Grundy on his list, I think.
Yeah, Solomon Grundy.
Born on a Monday. There's like a rhyme for that. I forget how it goes. Yeah. Someone put that in the chat. I'll read it out dramatically.
Cat 84 says his top 5 would all be Batman rogues, which we needed. Okay, so next video, you, me, Comic Cat 84, top 5 Batman villains. Let's do it.
I'm in.
All right, sweet.
And then we'll know at the same time what Comic Head's top 5 DC villains would be as well.
Yeah,
because they interlap.
That's why we didn't invite him, because we already knew that his would just be Batman villains, and so we were planning on making that anyways. So
yep, works for me. All right, well, we just snaked up to your number 1 pick, sir.
Yes. Okay, so Lex Luthor is pretty awesome. This next person, he has, I would say, the same amount of power, maybe less. So it's almost like I went like in reverse order in terms of like the amount of power they have. Darkseid, almost unlimited. Sinestro, Reverse Flash, Lex Luthor. I think it's pretty obvious to most people who should be number 1. And I'm a big Batman fan, so it's pretty obvious that he would be my number 1. Joker.
Yes, that is pretty. It's safe to say that's a pretty consensus pick on the best villains of DC Comics.
So the reason why I like him is not only has DC portrayed him like really good, I feel like he's just as smart. Sometimes, at least they make him out to be, as Batman. And like he's always got a plan within a plan within a plan. And they did that very well in The Dark Knight about how he wanted to get caught and all that stuff. I just feel like he's the perfect villain. And like in the New 52, they did a really good job with the death in the family, where Batman's got to pick between either killing or saving his Bat family or saving a bunch of innocent people. And so I just feel like he's like one of the smartest villains that there is, even though he's crazy. I feel like matches his intellect, and I don't feel like anyone's ever going to do any better than Christian Bale. No, sorry, not Christian Bale. What's his name? Heath Ledger as a Joker. Yeah. So Joker is my number 1.
No, he's a fantastic supervillain. I keep waiting to find out the mystery of the three Jokers.
I know.
That is something that
it really does make sense.
and but he's been in Death in the Family, Death of the Family, two of my favorite storylines of all time. And just the animated series Joker was just with Mark Hamill voicing him is just out of this world. And he played the Batman Arkham games at all?
I have one of them.
Oh man, he's amazing in that as well. But yeah, dude, I don't know how he couldn't be your number one. He is not my number one though.
So I was pretty sure we'd have three.
I know.
I was pretty sure Reverse Flash was going to be on your list. I was pretty sure that Lex Luthor was going to be on your list. And I was like 100% positive that the Joker was going to be on your list. So the fact that we only have one like I was like Darkseid, okay, maybe. But the fact that Darkseid is our only overlapping villain is crazy, but also awesome.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Like, I know my pick isn't popular, and I know that not having the Joker on my top 5 is blasphemous, and I apologize for that. And
Cyborg Superman is Superboy Prime on your top.
I know, but if there's so less to pick from for those characters that everything I've read with Superboy Prime or Cyborg Superman or Doomsday has just been absolutely phenomenal. And I want to see more of them. And I buy everything that they ever are in. But my number one villain, can we go to my number one villain?
Yeah, sure. Do it.
We're going to go with...
Hold on, wait. Can you do what I've been doing? Because I now I have no idea. So can you try to explain who it is and then I'll guess it?
Yeah, no, he's not just a villain, but he's a lot of the villains are villains because of their main hero that they fight, and this one is there because he feels that hero failed him, and that hero wasn't there for him, and that hero needs to be broken so that he can become better.
Yes, that all makes sense. Zoom is your one.
Zoom, baby. I said it wasn't Reverse Flash, and technically I was right. Zoom, Hunter Zolomon, his first appearance is actually not in this book. It's in a book called The Flash Secret Files and Origins, number 3.
There's like a person running to the side on the front.
Yeah. But this is just this is one of my favorite books. I'm actually bringing this one with me to the Comic-Con that we're going to, so I can get this cracked and put into a CGC slab instead. So
last year at the con, there was the guy that played Zoom from the TV show.
Oh, okay.
I forgot his name. We don't know who the dude.
Yeah.
That dude who was Jay Garrick at first, and then turns out he was Zoom. So he was at the con last year. But
that would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
But I absolutely love him. His power set is different than the other speedsters.
Yes, it is. Why don't you explain how it's different? But it is 100% way different.
Basically, he's able to slow down time around himself to be as fast as he is. And that, Comic Head 84 never read Zoom. I
actually just read the first appearance of Zoom like a week or two ago. I don't have. I read it on the DC Universe.
Okay, and then but he's and this is my list, and I love Zoom more than Reverse Flash because I like Wally West more than I like Barry Allen. And
OG Wally West is the best Flash of all time. Not even close.
I think it's close, and I think it's debatable. But for me, it's Wally West, and which is Wally West is the Flash that is in the Justice League cartoon that I keep talking about. So
Okay, now I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yes, and but I love Hunter Zolomon. He's just a fantastic character. His origin is like screwed up. Like he basically goofed up on he's like a profiler for the FBI, and he goofed up on naming like on his assessment of a villain, and the FBI broke in there thinking he would be unarmed. This dude had a gun and killed his father-in-law who
Yeah,
was leading the raid, and while he lost everything, his wife left him, and then eventually he was paralyzed because of an attack from Gorilla Grodd, and that's when he went to the Flash and said, "Hey man, I need you to hop on this little cosmic treadmill thing here, and let's run back the clock a little bit and fix my life." And Wally West,
he's learning.
nah,
He's learned that you shouldn't do that.
yeah, it's bad news. So, yeah. Then I had this other book. This is one of my favorite books in my collection. My Matina variant of Flash 46.
How much did that run
Um,
you, if you don't mind me asking?
um, I think this one was about 140, but I bought it when there was like a 20% off eBay coupon,
Okay.
and I was really struggling back and forth on which one to get because there was a couple 9/8s. This one was $40 more, but I decided on it not because I wanted the signature. It's signed by Matina, but it's because the yellow label matches the
That looks fantastic.
yeah, and it's you know reverse flash or zoom. It's kind of a silly costume, when you really think about it. It's just a bright yellow,
Yeah.
freaking absurd mustard looking costume, but it's part of the reason why I love him so much. And that was the way to go, was to get the yellow label on that biddy right there. So
That's our top five. So go ahead. I'm going to read mine, and then you read yours, and then
yeah.
we're going to talk about. You said you had one honorable mention you want to talk about, and then we'll ask the people in the chat what their top five is. So
So
my number.
my other honorable mention was Joker. I mean, we kind of already covered that one, and I didn't want to name my honorable mention as the Joker before we read our list because
Yeah, most people would have expected him to be in the top three, probably.
yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so one of my honorable mentions was Bane. Fantastic Batman character. Obviously, this is the first comic book I remember reading as a kid. Bane is fantastic. I said that Doomsday was one of my honorable mentions, and Brainiac. Number 5 was Darkseid. Number 4 was Sinestro. Number 3 was Reverse Flash. Number 2 was Lex Luthor, which I still don't know how he's not on Dee Runk's top 5. And then my number 1 was the Joker.
All right, so my top 5 here, I had Cyborg Superman, I had Darkseid, it's Doomsday, Superboy Prime, and then Zoom Hunter Zolomon. Yeah. Biggie Shack just joined us here in the chat. What up, brother?
Biggie Shaq, you joined just in time. You got to miss the last hour of just us just talking about random crap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, go
Big
ahead.
Jack, Comic Head. Oh no, not Comic Head. I don't want him answering this. Comics Books Explained. Chino. If Manny's still here, Genome. I can't remember who all. But if you're still here, I want you guys to go ahead and tell us what your top 5 DC villains would be, since we just went over ours. The reason I said no Comic Head is he said his is Batman top 5, and we're gonna do Batman top 5 with him. So
that is correct. No, yeah, man. You had a hell of a list, though, man. I love all those characters. I said I left Joker off mine, and like, don't get me wrong, man. You ask me again in a week, and he might be number 2. I'd say one thing that bumped me down, and I think I talked about this in a previous video or stream at one point, but the Batman Who Laughs is kind of puts Joker down a couple pegs, in my opinion.
Just because he's got Batman's intellect and wealth
and fighting ability and, his genius. And then also he is the Joker, in a way. Like, it's weird. Like, it almost makes me not like the Batman Who Laughs because of how inconsequential he makes the Joker.
So have you been reading the Batman Who Laughs, like that miniseries right now? So I have not read issue 2 and 3, but issue 1 ended with Batman, spoilers, Batman on our Earth getting the Joker spray, I believe. Correct, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened in 2 and 3, but I'm assuming he found an antidote. Don't know.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but 2 is a good book, and 3 has a very surprise ending. So
the Grim Knight looked pretty sick. I want to get that that cover that Matina did, even though he copied someone.
Yeah, dude, I don't like it's to me that bothers me a little bit that he's kind of copying other people without their permission. It's not like he's doing a cover swipe or an homage cover. He's just like passing off other people's work as its own, but he still does it better than they did. And
yeah, I agree.
And this is a Matina variant, or a Matina cover, and like, damn it, that is just the coolest looking book.
The coolest ones he's ever done too.
Yeah.
All right, we got some people that did their top 5 here. I'll read the first one. So Biggie Shack said his top 5 is number 5, Lex Luthor, number 4, Darkseid, number 3, the Joker. So he's got 3 of his on my top 5. Number 2, the Parasite.
Rudy Jones, man.
I don't know what that is. And then number 1 is Doomsday, which was on your list and my honorable mention list.
You don't know who Parasite is? He's the purple dude that is a Superman villain. He absorbs everyone's power, kind of like Rogue. And he likes to fight Superman because he likes to, have Superman powers for a while.
Did you read any of Action Comics? You have to be when reading 957 through 1000, and they had Mixie something.
Mixie S. Pitlick.
And how was that other Kent? That really pissed me off.
It bothered me too, but here's the deal. Like, so yeah, to answer that question, yes, I read every Action Comics since New 52 came out. And that was a weird and goofy storyline, but they had to find a way because in New 52 Superman, Lois Lane outed Clark Kent as Superman. And Rebirth was not really like a reboot of the continuity. It was just, like a different direction they were taking their books in. So Clark Kent couldn't exist in that universe because Superman is Clark Kent, and everyone knew that. That storyline that you were referring to was wacky and wild and goofy, but they were trying to find a way to make it so that Clark Kent could go back to being Clark Kent. No one knows who he is. And
I didn't like that whole thing either. I think it was the annual, or it was like Superman. Like, I can't remember what number it was. I want to say like 19 or 18 or 17, where he went to the Fortress of Solitude, and basically him and the previous Superman from the New 52, they just like linked up, so they were one now. I did not like that either.
Well, it's not like they deliberately linked up. It was weird. Yeah, they basically retconned all of the New 52, and now I liked the idea of the pre-New 52 Superman being the Superman of modern day comics. Like, I loved that aspect. So I wish they would have kept those two separate. But
I agree.
But I think they really wanted to get back to a more traditional Superman that, Clark Kent works at the Daily Planet, Lois Lane works at the Daily Planet, And the Superman Rebirth run is one of my favorite series that I've ever read.
Wow.
I'm not saying that Action Comics was good, but Superman Rebirth, written by Peter Tomasi, is phenomenal in my opinion.
They did. They also had Lois Lane be Superwoman because she was from the New 52 as well, and she was Superwoman, right? Did I have that right?
Yes, but she died in the first issue.
Yeah.
And it wound up being Lana Lang that became Superwoman.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
And they wanted to, because the pre-New 52 Lois Lane was also in this continuity, they wanted those two characters from the pre-New 52 to be the modern day Lois and Clark, starring in the New Adventures of Superman.
Okay, do you want to read Genome's top 5?
Hell yeah. We got Sinestro at number 5, Mr. Zaz at number 4. That's a very good villain. Darkseid at number 3. Number 2, we got Killer Croc. And number 1 is Solomon Grundy.
Okay, so
Now,
was that the guy that did the whole thing? Because he put on there.
Yeah, I promised that I would read it. And
okay, I have it pulled up. But you go ahead.
All right, I gotta scroll back here. Woo! All right. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on a Tuesday, married on a Wednesday, took ill on Thursday, grew worse on Friday, died on Saturday, buried on Sunday. That was the end of Solomon Grundy. I apologize for my terrible reading of your favorite super.
Do we have anyone even watching still?
Huh?
Oh, we got 8 people watching. Okay.
Yeah, we got 8 people. Yeah, we got people watching.
6 other than me and you.
Yeah. But no, so he had Killer Croc in his top 5. Do you remember the episode of Batman the Animated Series titled Almost Got Him?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Shit. So it's basically all the villains are playing like in a poker game. And they're all talking about like the time that they almost got him, and it kind of became a measuring contest after a little bit of time. Right. And everyone's telling this grand scheme they had to kill Batman, and Penguin had this great one, Poison Ivy and Two-Face, and then Killer Croc. So here he is. He's getting closer and closer, and everyone's like gathering around closer to the table. And then what? And then what? And then I threw a rock at him. That was how he almost got Batman. It was a big rock.
Dude, I feel like we should do like an anti-hero, like top 5 sometime. Because there's some characters that are like, they're villains, but also heroes. Like Harley Quinn, that Biggie Shaq just talked about.
Yep.
I do feel like Lex Luthor is kind of an anti-hero. Venom is another one.
Hey, Burke, I need you to hold down the chat for a minute. I need to use the restroom.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to the kids. I'll play nice. Comic Head says I have an actual card game of Almost Got Him. I don't know what that is. Sounds cool, though. But, right, my top 5, since you just joined, is right here. My number 5 was for top 5 DC villains, Darkseid. Number 4 is Sinestro. Number 3 is the Reverse Flash. Number 2 is Lex Luthor. And number 1 has to be the Joker. So that is my top 5. Dee Runk had his top 5. Let me see if I can remember it all. His number 5 was Cyborg Superman. His number 4 was Darkseid. His number 3 was, I want to say it was Superboy Prime. Number 2 was another, I don't remember his number 2 and 1. I feel bad, but I can tell you it was not the Joker. His number 2 was another Superman villain. And I believe, who was your number 2?
My number 2 was Superboy Prime.
Oh, who was your number 3?
Doomsday.
Okay. And your number 1 was your shirt.
Hey, I actually did go use the restroom, but I also decided to take that opportunity to change. And I was gonna wear this for our show, but no, yours was Reverse Flash in your
Right.
list. Mine is Zoom.
For Zoom.
Yes.
Because he's your number one.
No, numero uno. Yeah, this is my boy right here.
Magneto can be an anti-hero. I agree with that. Venom is an anti-hero. Harley
Red
Quinn.
Hood. Red Hood's one of my faves.
Red Hood, Catwoman.
Yep.
There's a lot of anti-heroes. Deathstroke, stolen from Deadpool. Both of those I feel like are anti-heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, I left, some of my other honorable mentions here for for true villains were Ra's al Ghul.
Okay.
I love him. And reason why I like him and people like him and Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, like, a lot of these people have really sympathetic stories, that, like, what would I do to save my wife? I mean, if I was capable of doing some Mr. Freeze shit, like, I'd give it a shot. She's trying to take me to Comic-Con.
I like Mr. Freeze a lot. I don't like him quite as much as others, but he's up there. He's up there. He'd definitely be worth mentioning for my Batman top 5.
Yeah. It's that Heart of Ice, man, from Batman the Animated Series. It completely retold his origin, and it was amazing.
What about Arnold?
That's just probably on, like, we did my top 5 least favorite comic book movies. Batman and Robin would be in there.
George Clooney in it.
Yeah. I mean, it had George Clooney.
They could have picked for Batman.
George Clooney was maybe George Clooney could have been better if the movie wasn't written as like a comedy.
He could play a very good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Not a good Batman.
Yeah. I actually liked Val Kilmer as Batman. I didn't like Batman Forever.
He was him at the right time because he was all jacked coming off of the movie of Tom Cruise where he's Iceman. Gosh, what's
Top Gun.
Yeah. So he was a good one, but yeah.
And then Batman and Robin had Bane in it as well, and that was such a shit representation.
I agree, 100%.
Oh,
I need to give me a first appearance of Bane.
Yeah.
A signature series. So.
That would be good. No,
anyone else want to put their top 5 villains before we pack it up for the night? Top 5 DC villains.
Yeah, Boatwright Family and Comics just put down Sinestro.
Sinestro, yeah, I see that. Sinestro's on my list. I actually just went out and bought this today because I did not have a Sinestro cover.
Oh, wow.
I used to have a couple, and I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, I was trying to get out to a comic book shop today to see if I could find some good villain covers, but I knew what my list was, and I had all the covers that I needed, I felt.
I got these 2 this week. That's it. So I got Flash 64 tie-in with the Batman. This is interesting, though. It has spoilers. It's got Gotham and Gotham Girl in it. So I haven't read this one yet, but I read Batman 64. And then I got this today because I didn't have a cover of Sinestro for my top 5.
So are you up to date on Heroes in Crisis then? Because that's a Heroes in Crisis. Okay, because that's a tie-in for that. So.
Yes, I'm assuming so because in the last issue they talked about how he had yet to tell. It was at the very end of Batman 64, I believe, or it was at the very end of Heroes in Crisis. One of those 2. He had just told Iris about Wally, and they cried in the kitchen on the floor.
That was an emotional scene for a comic book. Like,
it was.
Dude,
That is a
I
good person, Comic 84.
All right, Comic Head said, "What's worse comic portrayal, Eisenberg as Luther or Arnold as Freeze?" I think overall Arnold as Freeze is worse, but Eisenberg, like that was supposed to be a good movie. You know, Batman and Robin, I think was always just going to be a shit movie. Um, but Eisenberg, like he was the Lex Luthor for the new DC cinematic universe, and it needed to be awesome. Lex Luthor is an awesome villain. It needed to not suck, and I mean, just damn it, that whole movie, man. And I can still watch it and enjoy the movie, like I said, but um, you know, that movie has great individual scenes,
Yeah.
but as a movie, it sucks.
So, I forgot the guy's name, but the guy that played Robin and Nightwing in those movies, I felt like he was actually pretty good as Robin. I didn't feel like, because of the way he looked and acted, I didn't feel like he would be a good Nightwing, but I felt like he was a decent Robin.
He was okay, but in this is, you know, I nitpick a lot of these movies, but the dude was like 30 years old when Batman Forever came out. You know, like
Oh yeah, and he's supposed to be young.
he's supposed to be a teenager, so that got me a little bit. But they had a really funny pun in that Batman Forever movie when they're about to go confront Two Face and Riddler, and Robin is like walking on the steel grate, and he goes, "Holy rusted metal, Batman!" And he's kind of making fun of the original Batman series,
Gosh.
and you know, Batman goes, "What?" And he goes, "This metal, it's, you know, rusted and full of holes."
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I, I didn't,
that made me chuckle.
Jim Carrey was like in his prime back then, but he was not good.
No, it and you know, when I heard of that casting, like, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I thought like, oh, that'll be great, you know, and no, it really wasn't.
No. Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor. When?
In Superman 1 and 2 and 4,
I've never seen him.
what the fuck?
I've heard number one and two are like two of the best movies of all time. So I need to watch them.
Well, they're not two of the best. You know, I'm sorry, Biggie Shaq is gonna fucking murder me when I say this, but they're not just the best thing you've ever seen, but all the groundwork for any movie that you currently enjoy with superheroes in it started with those two movies. And you know, that they have amazing actors playing the roles, and you know, I love Henry Cavill as Superman, but the Christopher Reeve is just, his voice, his presence is just phenomenal
Biggie,
as Superman.
Biggie Shaq says, "Bro, you're out. You don't even know Superman."
No, but
Hey, do
um,
you have it? How many Action Comics 1000s do you own? I'm gonna put the over under at 2.5.
I've got probably 5. Um, I've got one, like Dan Jurgens had a variant. I have that autographed with a certificate, and then I've got like there's like a 1940s variant. There's I have a couple of the blank cover sketches.
Nice. Oh, that one right behind you.
Yeah, the one right behind me. That's my baby right there. And you know, yeah, but it's a cool book though. It's just a complete homage to Superman, and
It is. It was good. I would like to get that Matina cover for it.
yeah, that was there.
Got a couple of them. I also like the Silver Age one, the purple one with that checkered board up top. I thought that was a pretty good one.
Yep. No, that there were just so many of those that were just, but the covers were insane.
The Jock cover was pretty good too.
Yeah. But a lot of the normal ones, like just the cover A, you can find in like dollar bins now,
I know.
because there's just so many that got got printed. It's crazy, but
It is, and like I don't know about you, but I've not ordered any Detective Comics 1000 just because I feel like it's gonna be overhyped, just like Batman 50 and Action Comics 1000.
yeah. Well, and there's a lot of stuff that I like was like planning on buying, but I want to go to this Comic Con that we're going to at the end of March 1st, and see what I can find there, and maybe there'll be some maybe the variant of Detective Comics that I get will be tied to who's actually at the convention that I could score an autograph from.
They're
So
gonna have convention exclusive. So like last year, they had a DC Metal #5 convention variant, and it,
okay,
like I want to say it was like $17 or something like that.
okay,
And I didn't get it, but they will have a few. There's like a handful, so that would be
nice.
cool to have one. So,
Oh, Biggie Shack said next thing you're gonna say you didn't see the Keaton Batman #1.
oh no, I saw that. I saw that as a kid, and it gave me freaking nightmares seeing the Joker like fall off the side of the building, and he's like laying there, and it's going, that like gave me nightmares as a kid.
Hey, Comic Kid, where did you order that Detective 1000 art germ from?
Yeah, that Art Germ Detective, if I'm going to get one, it's either that one or the Adam Hughes, but the Art Germ one is the one that I would want.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I didn't even see that cover yet.
The Art Germ one, dude, it's fantastic. I like, you like the Golden Age one, Comic Cat? I like the regular one. They're almost identical, just obviously the Golden Age one looks like a Golden Age book, and the other one looks like a modern book, and I like the modern look better for Art Germ covers.
All right, I'm almost there. Of course, he's got some ladies in the modern one. Dude, I'm kind of with Comic Cat on this one. I like the obviously the one that's more modern is like probably technically better artwork, but the retro cover, man, is pretty cool looking.
I got a dude that's gonna say he's gonna look to see if his LCS. Yeah, there it is. Go ahead.
Here, hey, this is the retro one, and just gotta make sure I don't show you all my browser history. I'm
You know
kidding.
the difference between those two?
What's that?
There's no Batman in that Golden Age one, and I feel like
Oh,
Batman definitely needs to be on the cover. That's why I haven't ordered the Adam Hughes one because I want Batman to be on the cover of Detective Comics.
dude, that makes total sense. Actually, you just kind of swayed my opinion. That I like the retro one more, but yeah, you got to have Batman on the cover of
How can
Detective
you not
Comics.
have him on the cover? Like it's literally all about him.
Like a Superman one, Action Comics 1000 without Superman on the cover would have been really cool too.
Yeah. Though I will say that the Batman 50 variants with like the Joker on the cover or just Catwoman on the cover, those are pretty sick. Like my favorite was the Warren Lau variant.
I have I have a couple of those, like probably two, but I've got the one where it's like Catwoman laying on a bed and the Joker has written on the cover saying "ha ha ha, he's mine."
Oh yeah.
That was a cool one.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. Is there anything else that we should talk about before we call it a night?
Man, I think that's about it. I mean, as soon as we get off the old chat here, I'm logging in to purchase my hotel room for Kansas City for the Comic Con.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do my ticket for that day. Like I said, we need to get there. Like if it opens at 8, we need to be there at like 7 because like it takes almost an hour to get inside, and there's a line, huge line.
Dude, I already told you, man. I'm gonna have a tent right in front of the door. I'll
Are
be
you
number one in
really?
line. No, I'm not that much of a fiend. I will wait in line like a like one of the peasants, and we'll get in eventually.
Biggie Shack Jock does have one. It's just of Batman's face and looks like it's raining. That's his Detective Comics 1000 cover.
Or someone peed on him.
Or someone peed on him. Dude, you will not believe the amount of cosplayers that you will see at this con. It is like every fifth person.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Maybe I'll do my cosplay then. I like to do like a Superman that really let himself go.
Biggie Shack wants to know what's the point in collecting comics if I've never watched a Reeves Superman. Well, I can tell you that Superman is not one of my top like 3 or 4 comics, so that should tell you why I have not seen it. So
it's in the DC Universe app if you ever get the chance. I think part 1 is in there, but part 2 isn't.
So here's the thing: I don't really like watching like older movies because like the animation is just god awful.
It is, but
like,
this is another one where
usually
if you can appreciate that it came out in 1978, you get some appreciation for what kind of effects they were doing, and
right.
You know it was the first superhero movie that like was serious about being a superhero movie. So it's very good.
Biggie Shack, I collect Batman, Flash, Power Rangers, and some other stuff here and there. And I was reading Action Comics, but like I said, I just haven't. He's not one of my like usual suspects that I read. So
Burke Nasty, you got to tread lightly here, man. Like right now, you just lit up the American flag and put it out with a Bible. Like
no,
Biggie Shack is gonna find you someday.
no, he's gonna unsubscribe. He's gonna get me under 100 subscribers. No, I like the Superman show with Gene Kane when I was growing up. I thought that was cool. It was more like a soap opera though. Like looking back on it, Smallville was pretty fun. I like that show a lot. But
dude, that's one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to with the con we're going to is Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, and Dean Cain are all there. Like that is, I cannot wait. I'm definitely going to be getting autographs from them.
Kevin Eastman and Chris Claremont are the 2 that I know I want. And then there's a few others that I would like to see. Freddie Williams, I've seen him before, but I want to have him sign the rest of my Batman TMNT 1 through 6 for both Volume 1 and 2. I don't know if you know him. He's an artist. So.
Nice.
Neil Adams was there last year. I don't know if he's going to be there this year, but he was charging like $100 for a signature. So
yeah, see, and that's I always talk about how much I love Dan Jurgens as an artist and a writer, but he does free autographs. Like straight up, like you just walk up to him without even buying anything from him, and he just gives you an autograph. He's at a convention, like, and I'm not like he could charge money for it, but
Azzarello charged $5 last year.
What was that?
Azzarello charged $5.
Oh. Yeah, that's a hell of a price. Like that's worth it.
Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo didn't charge any, but like I said, I got there over an hour early to get their signature, and they capped the line. So Tom King and Clay Mann did not charge anything, and I got their signatures. So
yeah. Hey, Biggie Shack, there's a lot of disagreement about George Reeves shooting himself in the head. That is one of the most controversial suicides in the history of Hollywood. There's a lot of evidence that points to the fact that there's a conspiracy on that one.
Gino, yeah, we are still going hard. We've been talking about how I haven't watched Superman 1 or 2 from the 70s. We've been talking about the con we're going to. We've been talking about how my list is blasphemous.
Oh, I think mine's probably a little more blasphemous than
I
yours.
do feel like yours, with it being what, like four of them being Superman people. I did kind of like, what was one thing with me is like, okay, I know I really like Batman, but there are other ones that I also really like. So I wanted to try to include like a couple villains here and there. Like I didn't care if I had two or three for one person, but I did want to try to branch out because we were talking about overall DC villains. So I want to talk about like the ones that I really like, but also DC as a whole.
I agree. Like what I had Joker in my list for so long, and then like it hit me eventually. Like I just have him in there, and he's a great villain. Like he's world class. But I was just putting him in there because it's the Joker, and because he should be on every top five list. And he's not on my top five list. Like if I'm being honest with myself, he's not in my top five. He would be in my top six.
Bane is my number six right now. I would say
Yeah.
Bane, and then probably Doomsday is probably my top seven. So
Right on.
we have similar ones. We got a couple here and there.
Yeah, dude, sparked some good debate.
I'm really surprised that you like Zoom more than Reverse Flash.
Oh yeah, Reverse Flash to me like is just like a spoiled bitch. Like like oh, I love the Flash. I'm gonna go back in time and meet the Flash, and like oh, turns out I'm his biggest villain. And he goes crazy. Like oh my god, dude. Like just fucking go tie a brick around your ankle and jump in the river or something. Like
What's up, Comic Zombie? Dude, I really liked that fight between Batman and the Reverse Flash and the Button. Dude, that
that's
was
one of my favorite books that I've ever read.
that fight is one of the best fights that I think I've ever seen.
Dude, like the book takes place in like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that was a damn good. And reading that book made me so hyped for Doomsday Clock. And Doomsday Clock has been good, but you got to release your book more than you got to do it once a month at least.
I did. Okay, so we've talked about before. We talked about how like every Tom King book seems like it's Tom King talking. Jeff Johns does a good job of like when he's writing different books, it's never seems like it's just him talking. He gets into the character, and so like his Doomsday Clock books, it does like when you read it, like for the most part, it does seem like it was written by the same person that wrote The Watchmen.
And I enjoy that, but The Watchmen is kind of a slower story.
It
And
is, and I don't.
and
They try
there's
to.
nothing and there's nothing wrong with a slower story, but you've got to keep the books flowing. You know, you can't just, you know, they've been hit with several delays in their production of this book, and it's not even like they intentionally had a delay. Like that, it like they had problems and they had to rewrite and redo, and
Why do
like
you think they did that?
I don't know, and I really don't care. Like for how much marketing they put behind Doomsday Clock and how it was supposed to tie together the whole mystery of the New 52 and the rebirth. Like this is a fucking big story.
It's
They
like
needed to have their ducks in a row on this shit.
we are on like issue 8, and it's been 15 months, and they said it was supposed to be come out every month.
Yeah.
So
So
that's really frustrating.
yeah, and like I don't have that kind of attention span. I don't like having to reread the last issue before I read the next one. Hey, adios, 84. Yeah, I don't like having to reread my list or reread my book, the previous book before I read the next one.
I agree.
Like, and I have to do that, you know. And the last issue of Doomsday Clock was my favorite one so far.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
you know, and maybe you know what? Maybe this is just one of those ones like I don't know if you follow Soldier Only.
I do.
So they are not bothered by this at all because they've been buying the issues, but they haven't been reading them.
So they want to read all of them at the same time.
Yeah, and that would probably just be an incredible read at that time. But for me, I just have all this negative energy around that book. Like I was looking so forward to it, and it's just been a stutter the whole way through. Like I'm mad as hell about it.
I read the entire Batman New 52. Like, okay, I had already read Court of Owls, which Court of Owls is also probably top 10-ish villains for me, even though they're really new. Like,
Yeah,
really good, like an amazing read. Anyways, so I read like issue 13 through 52, like completely just through in one weekend, and it was just it's really nice to go from one issue to the next and like not have to like think about, oh, what happened in the last issue. You know what I mean? I
dude,
thought they should do that more.
the New 52 Batman run was just from 1 to 52 was just amazing. Right, and so impressive that it could be that good for 52 straight issues. And you know, a lot of people like Tom King writing Batman right now, and he's had some good books here and there in the run.
Overall, it's been
But
crap for Snyder.
yeah, I mean, Scott Snyder just it was a decline in my opinion. So you know, like which you know, when your decline is it's not a bad decline to have, but you know, for it for me, getting to read, it was a big spike in uptick for Superman Rebirth. Like those books were New 52 Superman and Action Comics was terrible.
Yeah.
So getting the Rebirth story was really good for Superman. Oh, he's digging. Oh, you got number 1 there? Hell yeah. I've got issue number 52 from that run. It's an homage cover to the. Do you just comic head something?
I did.
Oh, what'd you drop? Oh, is it a slab? Oh, okay.
No, my slabs are up here.
Okay. All right. Good.
So
It could have been worse.
it could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
And what, next weekend? Should we do Batman Top 5?
I don't believe I have any plans, so I am definitely down for that.
Saturday nights for me work the best because, like, I'm a teacher and I have to get up early. And, yeah, so Saturday nights usually work the best for me. And I got a little kid, so she goes to bed usually early. So, like,
Yeah.
Saturday night's best for me.
Right on, man. I don't work weekends at all, so it doesn't hurt me either way. So I'm down for that. So I'll touch base with Comic Head and try and get this worked out.
We need to try to do like just a Google Hangout not on here to see if it's why it's not working if people call me.
Yeah, no, and I'll try doing a Google Hangout with you again tomorrow and see if what happens with that. So we'll get it buttoned up.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. It's been fun.
Yeah. Hey, man, Biggie Shack, Comic Zombie,
Biggie
Gino,
Shack
have a great night.
I want to say Biggie Shack was here almost the whole time. So
yeah, no, Biggie Shack crushing it.
All right,
y'all.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.